Parshas Yisro, the Parsha where the Torah Kedesha tells us what happened on that awesome day, the day that the entire universe had been waiting for 2,448 years, the day where everything came to light, when the Rabbi Shalom himself, Kivayachal, came down to this world, and he said, Anochi Hashem Elokecha. The entire universe stopped. There was no noise, there was no movement in the entire universe at that awesome moment when the Rabbi Shalom gave over the Torah to Klal Yisrael. And one would think that at that moment the Rabbi Shalom would tell us words of profound wisdom. The Rabbi Shalom would tell us chidushim, things that we never would have known without this awesome gilui of Matan Torah. And the Rabbi Shalom comes and tells Klal Yisrael, Lo yisirtzach, do not kill. Lo yisignoiv, lo yisinof, do not be adulterers. Do not steal. And the Mefarshim are bothered. Is that the awesome moment of Matan Torah? Was that necessary to tell us, Lo yisirtzach, lo yisinaf, lo yisignoiv? And I heard from the Philadelphia Rosh Hashiva Zecher Tzadik V'Kodesh Livracha. He brought the Targum Yonasan Ben Uziel on these psukim, where the Targum Yonasan tells us that the lav of Lo yisirtzach, lo yisinaf, lo yisignoiv doesn't mean do not be murderers, do not be adulterers, do not be stealers, do not be robbers. The Targum Yonasan says Lo yisirtzach means Klal Yisrael should not have any shaykhis, any connection with murderers. Klal Yisrael should not have any connection with adulterers. Klal Yisrael should not have any connection with robbers, with people that steal. And the Targum Yonasan says, don't be friends with them. Don't be partners with them. Don't be nice to them in the klal of Klal Yisrael. Because if you are going to break that barrier, you're going to be pirates that gather and have any connection to Ritzicha, Niyuf, or Geneva, then your children, Dr. Targum Yonasan, will end up being murderers, will end up being adulterers, and will end up being robbers. And the Torah Kedesha is teaching us a very fundamental yesod. Klal Yisrael's separation from Averis is not just a question of do or don't. Klal Yisrael's separation of Averis is not just that we put up a brick wall for ourselves, that we shouldn't do such bad things. But Klal Yisrael's separation from Averis is we have no connection to that way of life in any which way. And the only way to ensure our Kedusha, our Va'atem Tiyu Li Mamleches Kohanim V'Goy Kodesh, the only way to ensure that is not only by being careful ourselves, but by making sure we have no connection to anything that even remotely has to do with Ritzicha, Niyuf, or Geneva. And Meir Rabbi say, I think that we see that mefurish at the end of the parasha. Right after the Aseres HaDibris, Moshe Rabbeinu tells Klal Yisrael, Atem Re'isem, the Rabbeinu Shalom says, Atem Re'isem ki min hashamayim dibarti imochem, you just witnessed the Matan Torah. And the Rabbeinu Shalom gives Klal Yisrael 3 mitzvahs. Very interesting mitzvahs for this moment. Mitzvah number 1 is Leisasun iti elehei chesef elehei zahav, and Rashi explains it means to say that when you make the kruvim in the Beis Hamikdash, if you do it any different than the way I told you to do it, that's bordering on avodah zarah. So make sure that they're zahav and they're not kesef and they're not any more than 2, because that's the way the Torah wants it to be. And then the next mitzvah, to build a mizbeach. And if you build a mizbeach, you have to build a mizbeach out of avonim, out of stone. But make sure that when you cut that stone, you don't use any metal. And Rashi tells us from Chazal, because metal is something that is used as a weapon, that is used to kill. And I don't want that in my mizbeach. And then the third mitzvah, and Rashi says that if you're going to walk large steps, then that could lead to a little bit of a gilui arva, a little more of your body that was supposed to be shown is going to be shown, and that's called Ashlei Sigala Ervascha Alav. Why are these three mitzvahs specifically given now? And I think with the words of the Philadelphia Rosh Hashiva we can understand that. The Torah is telling us that by the Umas HaOlam, Ritzicha means to kill. And one separating themselves from Ritzicha means they don't kill. But by Klal Yisrael, Leisirzach requires a sensitivity that we won't even use metal in the Mizbeach, because metal has some type of remote connection with killing. In the Umas HaOlam, Avodah Zarah means worshipping idols. But the sensitivity of Klal Yisrael is mechayev. Anything different than what the Torah told us about the Kruvim is already bordering on some type of connection with Avodah Zarah. Stay away. And by the Umas HaOlam, Gilui Arayis means doing Averis. And by us it means a sensitivity of making sure that even a man walking should make sure to walk in a way that doesn't draw too much attention to anything, any part of his body that attention is not supposed to be drawn to. What a tremendous yisoid that the Torah Kedosha is teaching us right after Matan Torah. The Torah is telling us the Matan Torah that I just gave you is not only about do's and don'ts. The Torah is about making and inspiring us to a sensitivity. Sensitivities of Ritzicha, sensitivity of Gilui Arayis, and sensitivity to Avodah Zarah. In this 5th week of Shovavim, let us try to arouse our own sensitivities. Let us try to be careful. There are so many things out there that one may say, it's not usher. Why? What's wrong? What's the problem? But if one looks with a Torah-dik look, with that sensitive look of the Torah Kedosha, in so many of these things, it's some type of shaykhis with Ritzicha, some type of shaykhis with Gilui Arayis. I'm not the one to say Musa. But do you think that sending around pictures of Chassan and Kala is a sensitivity to Gilui Arayis? It may be outright Asr, as many Rabbanim have said. But one thing is definite. Where's the Yiddish sensitivity to Kedushas Yisrael? And if I may add, the Lakewood Rosh Hashiva soll sein gesund und stark, was ma'orer many times throughout the summer. The way men dress, keeping buttons open, extra buttons open, wearing very tight clothing. There's no sif in Shulchan Aruch that says that it's aser. But does that stim with the sensitivity of Leisigala Ervascha Olav? Let us use this 5th week of Shovavim for ourselves. We gain so much in Yerushalayim, in Torah, B'tochen, Emunah. Let us take that lemaisa to work on our sensitivities towards Dvarim Shebikdusha. And with that we will be Zeicha Mirz Hashem once again. V'hu yashmienu berachem of shenis le'enei kol choy liyos lachem le'leikim ani Hashem eleikeichem.